If there was one single thing I have done in my consulting Airbnb business was asking myself a lot of questions to understand how can I get my clients bigger, better, profitable bookings. Doing this for the last 6 years, and every year the industry changing, every year the industry getting busier. I can't do what I did in 2018 for our clients and actually hope for the same results. And look, I'm so excited to share you this video because for me, I put exactly what I think when I'm creating ads for our client, and these questions and the prompts that I'm going to share with you will make you understand why you're doing what you're doing at the moment in your Airbnb business, and it could be why you might not be getting any longer term bookings, or it might not be why you will be getting long-term bookings if you don't answer this question or don't have the right knowledge or the path behind it. So guys, welcome back to another Grow Airbnb video, and let's go through some details now. Question number one is, what would you do if you were a guest looking to stay for a month somewhere? Now this question hits hard because a lot of time if you're an Airbnb owner, you might not be thinking about the longer term guest requirement. Especially imagine if you were doing it, right? What would you want from a host? What exactly, from a cleaning perspective, it could be what's in the kitchen, what's in the offering. Can you charge them an extra, 500 or maybe 200 pound to allow themselves to have a 50 pound budget on a weekly shopping where you're going to offer them this to be delivered to their property? Little things like this can make a huge difference on someone who's going to stay with you monthly, because in the ad later on we're going to talk about, you could literally leverage that as a part of your service for someone to be able to get all the basic needs on a weekly basis all included in the price. And for you it could be just hitting a button online on an online shopping or delivery nowadays. Even better, they can literally get, and this is the thing I want you to think first. So the question number one hits really hard to me because every time I'm looking at a client's property, I'm just thinking, if I was a guest, what do I need to do, or what can I offer in addition to hundreds of other properties online that's going to make a huge difference on my decision making to book that property to stay for 30 nights, sometimes 90, and sometimes even longer. Question number two is, what would you like a guest to say on the review? Because a lot of time people don't remember that part of the business, especially if you've just got into Airbnb business. You're constantly thinking about, oh, let me get this bookings. But if you had a choice to literally kind of go and choose the words that a guest would like to leave in a review based on the service, the offer, the property, the location you've done, what would that look like? Because that's going to make a huge difference. Like today I can let me share you a Grow Airbnb screenshots of some of the reviews, and I've always pictured my reviews to say my team, my client support manager Ridwan's name, Max's name, my team's name, because they've realized that every time they're working with me, it's not just peers that's dealing with their account. There's 6 to 7 people, including my client executive, they're all working on the account. So it's a teamwork that's got them the results, right? So every time I'm looking at that, I'm looking at how can I make sure that I get my team mentioned on that review? How do I make sure that our communication, one of the most strongest thing about Grow Airbnb right now is the communication between clients. How do we make sure that that's mentioned on the review based on the impact that we've made for our clients? So it's a great question to ask yourself, because you as an Airbnb owner, you've got to think about the reviews that you're going to achieve via your customers based on that next potential guest looking at your review going, oh my god, I'm staying there for a month. Oh my god, they offer this, that I've never seen that before. The weekly shopping like budget for 20 quid, and you do all the shopping for them, online shopping, and it's such a great little hack that could make a huge difference on what someone will write about you online and the difference that's going to bring to your business. Okay, my next question comes from my team, and he mentioned in regards to, if I have to leave my advertising as it is for a year, which by the way a lot of people do, what bookings did I have, and is that where you want to be? And when I go make it simple about this question, a lot of operators, if you look online on Airbnb, booking.com, their ad looks exactly the same as they did when they first launched, a year, 2 years. And honestly, you can go right now on Airbnb and you can see that. And look, you might be one of them who's watching this video and going, oh my God, Piers, I've been operating for 3 months, 6 months, and the least I've done is literally change some words and changed a bit of title, but the ad looks exactly the same. Or you could be some of my clients, I've worked with them, for 2-3 months, and we've changed the ad like multiple times, just because if you think about what you've achieved, and remember, we're talking about asking yourself that question, that you've left the ad as it is. Are you happy with what you've achieved, or could you have done more, or could you have made a better strategy for your ads that would have allowed you to get those longer term bookings? And yeah, it's a great question to ask yourself, because if your ad doesn't state the word monthly stay, there's a big problem, because your potential guest who's looking to book you for a month might not know that you offer a monthly stay. So you need to understand the ad, you need to understand what the ad could potentially do for your business. Question number 4, probably my favorite, because I do this with our clients on weekly call all the time, is what have I done in the last 7 days that has made a direct impact on your bookings, right? Because if you think about this way, 7 days, you can change your calendar pretty quickly. We've done multiple times. If you watched some of my client interview, we've got them results in less than 48 hours, from an empty calendar to a whole month's booking, just because we've made a quick impact on the existing listing itself. So it's a great question to ask, because sometimes, and my favorite one is, in the UK market, we have clients who's got Monday to Friday gap, and they've got a lot of weekends booking, which is majority of problems for many Airbnb owners all over the world. And in the UK, if you've got a good bed settings, I can effectively write ads that could effectively be more attractive to a contractor who's going to stay Monday to Friday. Because one thing about contractor you must realize is they don't only come there for a week. If you get them Monday to Friday for the first week, the likely chances are they're going to stay with you for a couple of weeks, where you can potentially now then get them into a direct bookings, because they're extended, i.e. you're going to make more money, it's easier for the guest, and it just becomes a more easier way to fill calendar. Now, the change that we've made on a strategy called Monday to Friday booking is what has got my client that exact booking, and I've done multiple times in our client's account, and it's probably one of the favorite strategy I share with Grow Airbnb clients. All right, so question number 5 is, how is your understanding in marketing? Now, basically means, what do you know about marketing? Because you could be a property investor, you could be someone who's gone through a mentorship who talk a lot about securing a property, but you might not be a person who understand marketing. And 90% of my Grow Airbnb clients, they don't know that. They just know, Piers, I've created an ad, I've watched a couple of your YouTube videos and understand that I can do some changes. But really, marketing takes, and big businesses do this very well, they take time to understand their guests, they take time to understand their customers, because eventually your marketing strategy should be relatable to those guests. In this case, we're talking about long-term 100% occupancy rate. Right now, if you don't understand marketing for those clients, you're not going to be able to do ads that's going to help you. So it's an interesting way to think about how much do you know about marketing, and it might be worth you investing a little bit more time just understanding marketing in general rather than specific for service accommodation, because it's going to give you more understanding about how a business should be thinking around their brand and around their adverts and around their marketing itself. Now, question number 6 smoothly goes into, if you don't understand marketing, then right now, what does your current weekly marketing plan look like for your Airbnb business? Because you might say to me, Piers, I've only got 1 unit, I don't need a marketing plan. And I'm like, well, that's the exact reason why you're not getting those 100% occupancy rate, because if you have a marketing plan, which is what we give to Grow Airbnb clients, you know exactly what you're doing every single week based on that marketing plan and based on what you have in your calendar, right? So an example, a client of mine, Abe, reached out to me recently. We did a handover with him about 2 weeks ago. He's got a monthly booking. He's completely, I think, full till 22nd of April. And he mentioned saying, Piers, I'm worried. It's, empty calendar. I'm not getting the, and my answer to that was, you've got the weekly checklist. Firstly, great. Secondly, just follow that, because it tells you exactly what to do, right? You don't have to worry about your calendar at the moment, because I said to him his lead time for longer term 100% 100% occupancy rate client was about 10 to 14 days before arrival. Now at the moment, he's not going to get those bookings because his calendar's blocked, right? He's already filled till 22nd of April. So it's just understanding that you've got the plan in place to follow so that you can stick to that plan and make those little changes where required to be able to achieve those 100% occupancy rate for your business. Now, this is funny. Question number 7, I ask myself a lot in my business, but also ask it to a lot of our clients, because what is your goal? And what is your bottleneck in your business? Because look, I know what my bottleneck is in my business at Airbnb, and I know exactly why things are not been moving forward, and also I know exactly what my goals are, right? And let me just share you quickly a little bit about Airbnb as well, because right now we're working in 5 different countries: UK, US, Canada, Dubai, and Cyprus. Now, for me to become a global business was never like a thought process when I first started, but now the bottleneck is now we're growing into this massive brand that clients and Airbnb owners like to work with. We've now realized the bottleneck is sometimes myself, because I'm not leveraging myself to understand that there's people around. Like, I remember once there's somebody from Bali who wanted to connect with me and work, and I genuinely believe that I had no knowledge to go and deliver that service for someone, and I thought, actually, I've let myself down by not taking the advantage of working in Bali. And it's just understanding what is your current goal. If you're someone who's watching this video and you've just started Airbnb business and you want to get that first 100% occupancy rate in your property, you've got to understand what is your goal first for this business for the next 12 months, 18 months, or whatever that is. And then secondly, what is your bottleneck? You might not have any knowledge on how to get bookings. I say this to people on one-to-one call. I'm like, look, you might be a great property entrepreneur. You know how to go and get properties, but if your property doesn't get bookings, it makes absolutely no sense. So something to think about, and ask yourself, what is your goal firstly, and what is your bottleneck in your business? Question number 8 is, why is your calendar booked with smaller bookings? So one of the things happens online with me is people watch my video, people connect with me, and you might be one of them, and you send me your Airbnb link, and I'm looking at your calendar going, oh my God, you've got booking in May for 2 nights, and then in June you've got a couple of 4 nights and 2 nights here. In July you've got like 1 booking for 2 nights in the middle of the month. Why do you have that? And how is that going to help you achieve 100% occupancy rate, right? So the question number 8 for me is more to ask you, hey, do you have a calendar management strategy? Doesn't mean that you've got to go and pay for Prize Labs or some tools that's going to automate it, and because you might be in an investment area that you might not need that. You just need to think, again, going back to the basic of, why do you need to understand your calendar? Do you have a calendar management strategy? And how do you stop getting those smaller bookings that's going to mess up your calendar? One of the things I talk about every single day to our clients is they're messing up their own calendar because they don't have a calendar management strategy in place. So it's a fantastic question to ask yourself, but also understand, how can you stop getting those smaller bookings further out in your calendar, which is blocking the opportunity for you to get those longer term bookings, especially you getting those 100% occupied. Question number 9 following up is, do you spend once a week being creative, or do you just sit down waiting for OTA such as Airbnb and Booking.com to potentially get you those bookings, and you're waiting for that notification, right, to ping and go, oh my God, I've got a booking? Now, this is a great question to ask yourself, because I do this all the time. I sit down with my team on a Monday morning and I say to them, hey, what different are we doing this week that nobody has ever done in the Airbnb world? Because this question is quite strong for my team, but also now it's becoming a daily, a weekly habit, because I'm like, well, that doesn't work because it's already been done before in the industry. We need to do something and get copied, which I'm absolutely fine with, but I know that I'm the first person. Today I can sit down and look at someone ads and go, well, they've copied from us, or they've looked at somebody's, and I know because I understand, right? And this is why we've probably got hundreds of ways we've found to do ads, to list properties, but also to become creative, because I know there's certain things I put in listing will allow certain guests to make decision quicker and faster and get that property booked. But also, are you just waiting for OTA to get you those bookings? Because if you are, you're going to be, and I can tell you today, the time you're going to get that long-term 100% occupied because you had an empty calendar is was pure luck. It was nothing to do with strategy. It would be nothing to do with you planning it. It would just be you've launched it and you've got, oh, I've launched property. I know booking, all of a sudden you've had a monthly booking. It's numbers of time it's happened to people, and then they come to me going, because I was fully booked for the last 2 months when I launched it. And I was like, how did you get that booking? Oh, I just launched it on Airbnb and I got it. Great. But again, it's not the strategic way you're going to approach your calendar and your property, especially if you're looking to scale. Question number 10, and I think it's going to go a little bit deep, and I am going to be absolutely honest, but if you knew your business was going to fail in 18 months from now, what would you do, or how would you spend your time in the business? Because I can tell you today, most of the people who fail in service accommodation and Airbnb business is between that 18 to 24 months in their business, because they've had their first year, they haven't made a lot of money, they've done a lot of work. Second year, they're looking into trying to do better because they run out of cash flow, some couple of bad months, and they just can't pay the rent or afford to keep the property going. Now, if you knew that was going to happen, what differently would you do today to keep the business, making sure that you have strategies in places, making sure that you know exactly how you're going to be better than 90% or 95% of your competitors? And depending on the size of the business, you could be 1, you could be 10, you could be 15, but you need to know every business have a life cycle, and you need to understand this, right? And for me, this is why I wake up every morning for Grow Airbnb and get worried. I'm like, okay, well, how can we do something different? What can I add to the business? What can I remove and replace to be able to fulfill our customers' need to keep going? And every morning, for me, it feels like a day one business rather than business that's been going for over 6 years. So it's a great question to ask yourself, because if you knew your business was going to fail in 18 months, how would you spend your time, your current time right now for your business? I hope you enjoyed this whole questions around and the prompts around you understanding how to get those longer term bookings, because it's not just doing ads, it's not just creating great adverts, it's not just listing your property elsewhere, it's just knowing all of these things, combining together in your knowledge, in your business, to be able to go and implement this. So guys, I hope you enjoyed another Grow Airbnb video. I love sharing this because these are the things that I go through with our clients every single day. And yeah, if you're liking this video, please make sure you hit that like, subscribe and share, and I'll be back with another video soon.